Live in session here on Six Music, S.G. Goodman and Fire Sign. Two more tunes to come. And ahead of that, S.G., would you mind introducing the rest of the band, please?
All right. All the way from Eastern Tennessee, I have Mr. Jonathan Shoemaker, who we lovingly call Shoe. He's on the bass today. Then from Nashville, Tennessee, I have Mr. Ben Parks playing the drums. And all the way from Oklahoma, we have Mr. John Calvin Abney on the keys and guitars and whatever else we ask him to do that day. And last but not least, I have Mr. Gusty Escalante holding down guitar.
And you're all very welcome. And you're fresh from London last night. How was that? How was London for you?
London was great. Love that town. And we had some good coffee this morning. The boys got a proper English breakfast. Can't complain.
Did you not have a proper English breakfast?
I needed to sleep.
Okay, that's fair enough.
You got to choose your battles. Mine was the bed.
All of the songs that you're playing for us tonight are from the latest album, Planting by the Signs. And it's not just an album title because it feeds into the record as well. Can you just tell us about that phrase?
Yeah, so to put it simply, Planting by the Signs it's a really old belief system. I mean, it goes back, I guess, ever since people were trying to figure out how the best way to live, and they started looking, to the heavens or whatever, and kind of seeing some, connection between if the moon was in a certain placement, that certain things that they did during those times, during a certain placement of the moon, that they had different results. So, for instance, a lot of people would say there's better times to plant certain types of things. There's a better time to cut your hair. Anything that has to do with water, which the moon affects. So that's the most simple way you could think about it.
And is that considering, sorry.
Oh, go on,
mate. Is that considering kind of the moon as a god, almost?
No, not really as a god. It was really just, trial and error. That's what I would say. It's definitely a pagan, kind of has its roots in pagan belief systems. But I think really what it was, when people started planting things in the ground, they were just trying to figure out how to feed themselves and realize that, hey, during certain times of the moon, they call it moist signs. Right. So there's probably better times to plant certain things than others, and I don't want to get too deep in the weeds. We could. I could make this a whole college discussion here.
We'll get you back on Radio 4 some other time.
Okay.
We're here to be educated always.
Yeah. All right.
But it's not a Kentuckian thing. That's a universal thing that could be applied, isn't it? But just how specifically did that feed into the songs which make up this record?
Well, no, it's not a strictly Kentucky thing, but now that we're over here in, I guess, the motherland, it is interesting that a lot of people who practice planting by the signs currently probably learned it from the American South and Appalachia, which, if you know any history about the Appalachian Mountains and the migration patterns the United States, a lot of people who first settled there were the Scottish, the Irish, the English, Germans, that kind of thing. So they brought those belief systems over and applied them to how they lived in America. And the other thing is, I came across this is how it specifically relates to Kentucky because I'm a Kentuckian. But I was interested in this because my family raised me according to a lot of these beliefs. Like, for instance, there's no, really cool way to say this, but I was taken off the tit, according to the signs, what I mean by that. And the other thing, my brother, he cuts his hair by the signs. My grandmother would say, don't pull your teeth when the signs were in the head. You'll bleed a lot. All these old. It's kind of like.
But it's water because we're so much versus water.
Exactly.
And that's coming from that. I get it. I understand to some extent. I'm not an expert. I haven't read with the Firefox book in which all this as well. Because
you've read that? You've read the Firefox book?
No, I read about them. When I was reading.
Yeah.
No, they're a revelation. I had no idea they even existed until I was finding out about this record.
Yeah, I just stumbled across the first edition of the the Firefox series and the Foxfire series, excuse me.
Foxfire, yeah.
And in my house, and they had a whole section on planting by the signs, and that's kind of when it hit me. I was like, wait a minute, I've heard about this before. But that's how a lot of Southern traditions are passed down. It's just by word of mouth, and you don't really question your grandmother of why she's telling you to do something a certain way. But it actually has a really long history, and I just thought it was really interesting and applied those details and beliefs to regular old songs about love and life.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of it is steeped in common sense as well. You know, like you say,
exactly.
certain times to plant things. There are certain times when you should do that. So that does make sense. If we can just get to the music for a moment.
All right.
So before you went down the alt country, for want of a better phrase, and I read that you were your first foray into music was more kind of post-punk.
Yeah, and I feel like you can hear that in the way I do my music now. You know, it's I wouldn't. I mean, it's a real hot topic, what's country music and what's not.
Sure.
And what's rock and whatever.
And what's folk music?
To be honest, I don't really care anything about that discussion too much. Exactly, what's folk music? I mean, we could really have a discussion about all that. But yeah, I started cutting my teeth with playing with punk bands.
So what were the kind of bands that you were listening to at that point in time?
This was amazing. Someone asked me the other day what one of my favorite memories of a concert was. I got to see the Light Up Gold record in a house with like 10 other of my closest friends.
Which album's that?
I'm having a blank right now.
Oh, right, you're having a moment.
Happens, we have that quite often.
It's like, light up gold, it's the color of something I was looking for.
No.
Boys?
I'm none the wiser. Somebody will fill us in.
Help
sure.
me. I haven't acclimated to the times over here.
Light Up Gold.
Mark's looking it up for it.
Thank
looking
you.
it up for you. And in the meantime, you're going to play a tune called Snapping Turtle in a bit, and there's a turtle on the cover. Can you tell us a bit about that animal?
Yeah, because I guess y'all don't have snapping turtles over here.
I don't
do you?
think I've noticed.
It's
no.
parquet courts. That's who I'm thinking of.
Parquet Courts.
Parquet
Yeah,
Courts,
sorry
they
about
found it.
that. Yeah, it's been a long time ago.
Right.
I knew asking about the turtle would bring out the answer. You see.
All
That's
right.
good.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
We've had Parquet Courts in this room.
You have?
Yeah, of course we have,
Well,
yeah.
I saw them in a kitchen with 10 other people. And
Right.
they left all their merchandise there, and we had to ship it to Lollapalooza in Chicago.
Right, okay.
And that was before that they were touring Light Up Gold, that record, and that was before they had their late night debut. So kind of like right at the cusp. And
Right.
then they asked that same band that was playing with them, my friend's band, a post-punk band called Quellbones, when they came back through our area a year later, when they were very famous at that point, they asked them to open for them, so it's really special.
Yeah, cool bunch.
But anyway, all right,
Anyway.
snapping turtle. Here, let's talk about the snapping turtle. It's kind of like a dinosaur turtle.
We
got
know it.
it's got, an alligator snapping turtle. Yeah, exactly. It'll take your arm off, but it has kind of bumps on its shell. It's really big and kind of deformed looking, but they're cool creatures. They live at the bottom of ponds and creeks and stuff like that. But I just have a lot of memories of them. I'm from the Mississippi River side of Kentucky, so sloughs and things like that are a real, just something that was really prevalent where I'm from.
We're going to hear that in a bit. There's so much to talk about this record. I could just like to recommend it, and there are a couple of tour dates that come up as well. I have another. You're not one to name drop, but there's a very good story about you winding up having meatballs cooked for you by Bruce Springsteen on his porch. Is
He
that
didn't
right?
cook them.
Are you sure? Okay, fair enough. I'm
was-
overplaying the boss being the.
But he did have them on his front porch. I did, yeah. I do know how that happened. I don't, and as a spiritual question, I don't know why that happened, but I did. I had dinner with Bruce Springsteen one night. I'm friends with the writer Paul Schrader and director. He's done a lot of
Taxi
big
Driver.
films, Taxi
Yeah.
Driver,
Wow.
First Reform, all that stuff. But I got an email from Paul who was saying he was coming to this tiny house show in in Freehold, New Jersey. And in that email, he was like, sent Bruce your song Space and Time, and he really likes it. Oh, by the way, we're going to come to your show, and you're going to have dinner with me and Bruce Springsteen after the show. That was it.
Wow. And I think you described Bruce Springsteen as being, everything you wanted from him, but also resembling, is it like a plumber who's had a good year, something like that?
Yeah, I said
you won't get invited back.
I said he was so down to earth he could just be your uncle who was a plumber. There was no ego about him sitting there. In fact, he showed up in a plaid shirt with all his jewelry on, but some workout shoes and pants. And that's what
bling and plaid together. I go down that route myself.
Yeah,
obviously.
If he was your uncle, you'd think he was really cool.
Yeah.
Do you have to call him the boss all night?
No, but no, I think that it might have embarrassed him even. I don't know.
Lovely. Well, thanks so much. Are you ready to play another couple of numbers for us, please?
As soon as I can find my pick here,
Okay.
I got nervous and put it in my pocket.
There we go.